Alright, so welcome back to some more MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. Today we are going to be checking out what for me is some of the toughest sections and toughest track in Supercross Encore. Now I have a few things that I was kind of checking off my list when I was deciding what the toughest sections were, and it wasn't just because it was the biggest line necessarily to get. For me, a big deciding factor was how consistent can I get that line, or how inconsistent am I with it. And we're going to go over the whoops, we're going to go over rhythm sections, and we're going to go over the toughest track for me in this game. And there's a lot of them, so I kind of have a couple honorable mentions, and I have to give a thank you to Justin F. He's been with the channel for a while. He suggests a lot of things, and this was one of his suggestions. And I was going to kind of split it up into several videos, but I don't know, it just kind of made sense to kind of stick all this together. So we're going to start this off with the whoops. Alright, so here we are at 2017 Atlanta, and these whoops are gnarly. That's kind of trying to get a good run around the corner and just get on top of them with no preload, nothing. They suck you down into them. They're really big, really spread apart. They're just wicked whoops in this game, and for me, I think they're by far the toughest ones in Supercross Encore. They're just, it's really hard. It's hard to jump through them. It's hard to get a good time through them, because when you jump through them, I mean, kind of like this, you just kind of get out of whack and out of sync, or you're too high in the air and you're losing time. It's just, you really want to get on top and skim them, but that's not that easy. And here on this last run, we do kind of manage to get on top. You kind of preload in, and once in a while you get lucky. It was still a pretty sketchy way through them, but this is, at least for me, the best way to get through these big bad boys at 2017 Atlanta. And I felt like I had to give an honorable mention to Manchester. When this DLC came out, these whoops were really nasty too. Before I was using manual transmission or carried as much speed, they were really tough. Now here, we get through them really easy without too many mistakes. But if you happen to make a mistake, they're very, very deep. They're not as far apart as Atlanta, but they're deep enough that they can totally kill your lap time. So felt like Manchester was probably had the second toughest set of whoops in Supercross Encore. Alright, so rhythm sections. This is 2017 A2, Anaheim 2, and this rhythm section right here is insane. This quad is so fast. It's really fast, but it's very, very tough to get. For me, I'm not talking for everybody, I'm just talking for myself. For me, it's the most inconsistent line to hit as far as trying to hit the big fast line. It took me forever to get these two, get that section twice for this video. You can tell because I'm really dirty. I was in the game for a long time. It's so tough. There's multiple ways through it, but if you're trying to hit the big line, this is the big line, the quad, and we don't even get it that good. We come up short a little bit, but we still kind of got through it. So for me, 2017 Anaheim 2 with the quad rhythm section is by far the toughest line, most inconsistent line for me to get in Supercross Encore. And like usual, we have to throw the honorable mention in. This is Los Angeles, a track that I really don't like and just can't throw a good consistent lap in. But this rhythm section right here coming up, jumping onto this tabletop, it's not super hard, but getting the triple off of it is difficult. So for me, this is probably the second most inconsistent line for me in this game. So we are at 2017 Phoenix, and this for me is the toughest track in Supercross Encore for multiple reasons. Here we have a triple, and I'll show you going through it with a quad 5, and if you try to hit that line, it's very, inconsistent for me. Maybe not for everybody, but for me it is, and we don't even get it all the way, and then we'll cut back to the regular lap. But even this rhythm section here, I always over or under preload on that first triple, and it messes me up for the rest of it. So this section is very inconsistent for me. On top of the fact that it's a very long track, the longer tracks are harder to run consistent laps just because they're longer, and I very rarely get one good solid lap in. Not just a race, but one lap. Here, this triple into these whoops can be annoying too. These whoops they're difficult, but it's awkward the way you go into them, and sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you want it to. And then coming back down this long start straight here into this corner, you can go into it. It's really easy to go into it way too fast and then go over that corner. I see it all the time. Happens to me all the time. This sand section's super annoying. And then this rhythm section's not that bad going through it the way I am. But after I get through this, I will show you a faster way through it. And that big line that I will show you here in a bit is very hard to get. So 2017 Phoenix tops my list of toughest tracks because of how inconsistent it is, how difficult it is for me to just get one good lap in. Not just a race, but one good lap in. Alright, so there you have some of the toughest sections and toughest track for me in MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. I know this list won't match a majority of people's, but everybody plays the game different. Everybody's different speeds, different abilities in it, and for my ability and the way I like to play, these are the toughest whoop sections, toughest rhythm sections, and the toughest track for me. It's just one of those things. I mean, there was several other tracks that were really close. I don't remember exactly now, but when I was going through them trying to, decide, I guess, there was a couple other ones. So it was really close, and I didn't do an honorable mention, but for me, Phoenix was the one that stood out the most. It's like when that one comes up, it's like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to do that one. I have an okay lap time there. I believe it's outside the top 50, but I think when I first did it, it was inside the top 50. So I did at least have a decent lap time there. A lot of people have passed it up now, but it's still really inconsistent for me just to get one good lap, let alone a 5-lap race, because I think the replicas are 5. So that's my list. Curious to know what yours is, what your toughest track, your most hated track is, and if you agree or disagree with the whoops and the rhythm section. But again, thanks to Justin F. for the suggestion. If you have suggestions for future MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore videos, put it down in the comments, and I will try my best to pick out some of the best ones and make videos on those. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on this series. And until the next video, take it easy.